Hi, beautiful people. How are you doing? You are welcome back to yet another tutorial video. If you're new here, you are most welcome. My name is Ruched for short. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. I love you. In today's tutorial, we are going to be learning how to cut and sew skirts or dresses with drapes, in this case front and back drapes. And if this video is the one you are interested in, then sit right back, relax and enjoy. Please do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to like, do not forget to share and leave your comment in the comment section below. Thank you. And the total width I used here is the hip plus an extra 10 to 15 inches. That is depending on how loose you want the fit to be. So the hip plus extra 10 to 15 inches. And next we get the length, which is from the half waist length, okay, because this is a dress, from the half waist length to the length you want it to be. For this one, I want it like a 3/4 length, so I'm using a total of 60 inches from the half waist length. And as you can see, it is placed just on 2 folds, unlike the regular 4 folds that we normally place whenever we are making our cutting on fabric. So it's placed on 2 folds. And on this side, this is not the zipper allowance, it's the front part where the draping is going to be taking place. So on this part, I'm going to be stitching it down first before we continue. And the reason for doing this is to enable us get the center fold for the back, okay, so that the whole process is going to be easier. So I'm going to be stitching down this part and then we'll continue. So here, as you can see, I already stitched that down. This is the front draping part. Like I stated earlier, this is the part where the draping at the front is going to be taking place, and then I open it up to notch the other part. So this is the other part I'm going to be notching. For now, this is the center fold for now, that's for the back, okay, but as we progress, the center fold is going to be falling on another side, but for now this is the center fold. And as you can see, I already have it ironed out to make the place easy for me to locate. And from this part, like I stated, the draping part, and then I'm going to be taking the waist measurement divided by 2 plus 1 inch seam allowance, okay, from this other part that I said is the center fold of the back. So I am going to be marking the waist divided by 2 plus 1 inch, and here is the waist measurement divided by 2 plus 1 inch seam allowance, okay. So from here to here is the waist divided by 2 plus 1 inch. And then coming over to this draping front part, I'm going to be marking from the half waist length to the hip measurement plus 4 inches. So to the hip is 27, and then plus extra 4 inches, which is 31. So I have that marked out, and then I'll be connecting from this waist part down to this hip length plus 4 inches. So I do the connection from the waist down to this part, as you can see. And after that is done, I'll be cutting along the same part. So I cut along the same part from the hip to the waist area, and then I'm going to be trimming out all the sharp edges so that we can have a smooth curve at the end of the day. So I trim out any excess sharp edges. So this is what we have from the waist down to this other side, and then I open it up. Remember, like I stated, that we have this as our assumed center fold at the back, remember that. So this is our waist, okay. You can see we have the actual waist now plus the zipper allowance for the back. So I'm going to be placing the drape on the side that I want it. If you want it at the center front, that is fine, but for this one I want it at the left side of the body. So I'm going to be placing it on this side, not the center, okay. So I place it on this part depending on how sided you want it to be. And with this placement now, we're going to be having a new center fold for the back. So I measure out to get the center for the back. So here we have the new center fold for the zipper allowance at the back. So I'm going to be notching that to give me a guide on how to open up the center fold for the back. So I'm going to be ironing that down so that it can be easy for me to locate by the time I'm ready to open up. So I turn to the back. You can see that the former center fold ironing is still there, so that is going to help me with this one now. So I'm going to be ironing out the new center fold for the back. So I place it this way, so the distance from the former center fold to the new one, so I think that gave me like 3.5. so I make sure I have the 3.5 all the way down, and then I iron it out so that I have the new center fold for the back. And with that, now you can see we have that. So I'm going to be cutting along that part, but if you do not want a zipper on yours, you can skip this part that I am doing, okay. Just continue with every other thing apart from the zipper allowance. So I open it up and let's see what we have now. So opening it up, you can see we have our front draping part staring at us. So this is the part where the draping is going to be taking place. And as you can see, I'm already doing that roughly with my hand. So this is what is going to be done to this part all the way. Now it depends on how high or how low you want it to be draped. If you want it up high, then it's your choice. If you want it longer, it's your choice. So use your discretion, you know, and do your draping. And here you can see I've stitched down my draping. So this is what we have. Like I stated, if you want it shorter, you can pull your draping up. So guys, this is what it looks like. This is what our draping looks like. And also note that the zipper allowance is going to be draped as well. So I'm going to be doing that to the zipper allowance. The only difference is that the zipper allowance draping is not going to be as full as the front. So let me show you guys how that is going to be done. So I have a gathered stitch at the zipper allowance, and I'm going to be pulling one of the threads to give me the gathered I want at the zipper allowance. So I pull the thread to give me, you know, the adequate gather that I need. So I'll be doing this until I get the desired draping that I want at the zipper allowance. You can see that the draping is a bit fuller at the upper part and then disappears as I come down. Okay, so that is it for the draping. And then let me open up the two seam allowances for you to see. So I'm going to be stitching on each of the zipper allowance so that I can have the gathered intact. So I'm not going to be using a gathered stitch at this point. I'm going to be using a normal stitch just to hold down the draping that I already have with this gathered stitch on the back zipper allowance of this dress. So I'm going to be stitching on both sides of the zipper allowance just to hold down the draping and keep it in place while I fix the zip. So I have that done now. So I'm going to be removing the first gathered stitch that I used to hold the two zipper allowances together. So I take that off so that I can have my draping on both sides of the zipper allowance now. So you can see that on both sides I have the draping intact. So I turn over this way now, and then you see how that looks. And with this, the draping both for the zipper allowance and the front is ready, and the next thing is just to fix the upper part of the dress and then put the zipper, and the dress is ready. So let me get that done and show us what the finished product looks like. Thank you guys for watching.